Seller calls with a house in foreclosure. You learn that it's worth $80,000, needs about $1,000 in work, has a principal balance owed of $68,000. The seller wants no money. She will be happy if someone would just pay the 5 back payments of $700 per month and stop the foreclosure. The loan is due on sale. What do you offer? This one was a little, we were having some disagreements on how to deal with it. First, we tried to look at see what would happen if we just got her to deed us the property, if it was worth having still at that point. Well, there's a $68,000 loan. For us to do anything with this property, we're first going to have to pay off $3,500 of back payments if we're going to take the property back, and then we got to put $1,000 worth of repairs in. So now we'll have invested $72,500 on a house that has an after-repaired value of only $80,000. So we have $7,500 worth of equity, and we put in $4,500 of our own cash. It didn't look like a real steal to us. So our first option was pass.
That's your offer, huh?
Don't return the call.
Okay, we're going to make a lot of money on this deal.
That's right. All right. Okay, so then we tried to get a little creative, and we thought, okay, let's see if we can do a lease option on this particular product.
Why? She's willing to give you the house. Folks, there's no reason for you to ever lease option a house they're willing to give you.
That's our back door, I guess I should have said. They will take the house.
Of course, you're back to the same plan, though. Is it worth it to make up the 5 back payments?
It's tough because it takes upfront money on our part. Also, we were looking at the fact that if, in fact, we were to get rid of this through a lease option, we'd probably be able to get about $4,500 as a down payment, which is about what we've got into the house for our own cash. We might be able to break about even there, even though we figured it was probably going to take us we should plan for 2 months of paying that mortgage until we get somebody in it and some cash flow going.
2 months to lease option it?
That was the consensus, just protection.
What is it about this house you guys don't like? I mean, why is it going to take 2 months to lease option it? He said it'd take 2 months.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Yeah, we needed 2 payments. We're not sure that we might be able to get a person in. Yeah.
Well.
So if that was the case, if we put $4,500 into it, we were trying to look at then what we could get back, not only for down payment. We figured we could get a $4,500 deposit out of it. The other issue was about the payments every month.
Yeah.
Now we figured the fair market value of a property like this would be about $800 a month. So we would try to charge $900 a month rent for the property, and then we still had to try to acquire the remaining amount of money so that person could have the entire deposit at the end of 1 year. And we felt that the problem is that we would have to get too large of a monthly payment. It would take us about $1,000 extra a month to close this out in 1 year. However, if we allowed the lease tenant...
Why do you have to close it out in 1 year? You own the house.
We don't, right. We figured it with 2 years, though, for an additional $500 a month, now the tenant could own it within a 2-year period of time. So that looked to be the most attractive. Come in with us, give us $4,500 down, give us $900 a month rent, an additional $500 a month for 2 years, and they own the house. Or they take over the existing.
Really, the question we have to decide here is whether we're $3,500 putting into this deal. We have to make it work somehow to make it worth that kind of an investment and our time. Isn't that correct?
Exactly. Actually, it's $4,500 because there's $1,000 worth of repairs on top of it.
Well, it doesn't say we have to do the repairs.
Okay, sure.
Can our buyer do the repairs?
Sure.
$1,000 worth of repair isn't much repair, is it? Just nitpicking cosmetic stuff, a little bit here and there, which any buyer would be more than glad to do. Okay, in exchange for less down or whatever. All right, let's analyze this thing from top to bottom. How many of you would walk from this deal? I mean, just literally walk. Most of you, right? And and maybe you should. Yes.
First thing I would do is, there's 5 back payments. There's 5 back payments. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean you got to run down there to the bank and get 5 back payments to get in on the deal.
That's true.
Worst case scenario, you go down to the bank and try to work out something where they take 4 or all of the back payments and shift them around to the back part of the loan.
Yeah, you can do all that if you want to. While you're doing that, I will have bought 2 other houses, but you can do all that crap you want to. I'm not going to be doing that. Besides, your chances are slim to none that they're going to do it anyway. They're structured under set rules nowadays. They just soon foreclose and get it over with and get it in, get it out, and be done with it rather than make some stupid deal like that, because somebody down at the bank has to give you authority to do that, and I have very little success. Way back in the early 80s, we used to do that a lot, but lately it's just no intelligent life form, folks. I don't even want to get into that. So let's assume that the back payments have to be paid. Would you invest $3,500 into this house, based on what you see, to be the owner now, not to lease it? Let's see. First of all, what would you sell it for on a lease option?
90.
How much?
90.
90? You can try that, sure. If I sold it for $90,000 on a lease option, if I did now, I'd have to do the repairs, or I'd probably have to give them credit somehow for the repairs. Okay? I only owe $68 on it. Folks, I just created $22,000 worth of equity. Okay? Now you say, well, I got to put $3,500 into it, though. So if I put $3,500 into it, how do I get it back? That's something you always got to ask yourself. If I put it out, how do I get it back? Now, isn't it true that the absolute worst case scenario is that you do put $3,500 into this deal, that if you rent it out, rent to own it, you can't get it 5, but you get at least 3. You've only got $500 in this house. Isn't that true? Okay. With $22,000 worth of equity here, if you lease to own it. Now, you won't sell it today for 90. But in this case, I'm not sure I want to sell it today. I'd rather lease to own it and extract more money out of it over the term, and I've virtually got little or nothing invested. And by the way, if I can get $3,000, I can get $3,500 back. Just as easy, and maybe even more. So I'm giving up my front-end payday, but let's look at the rest of it and see if it makes any sense. What's my payment here? $700. I got a $90,000 house. There's no way I'm not going to collect more than that per month. My base rent ought to be what? $895, $795, something like that. Depends on where you live, doesn't it? Let's just say it's $795. Okay. A base rent $795. Isn't it true that if I just break even going in, I got a $95 a month positive cash flow on a $90,000 house now with $22,000 worth of equity in it for free? Now, is it better that you own a $90,000 house for free, or a $40,000 house for free? I mean, see, this is not one of them old Cracker Jack boxes. This is a house from this point on that I am never going to have any trouble renting out. It's in a good area. It's a good house. It's the kind of house most of you live in. You're not going to have any trouble renting it out. And if you look at it from a point of view that you've got nothing invested in it, and frankly you've got nothing to lose, it may or may not be worth your time to get involved in. I see it as a pretty good sized payday when it finally does get sold, and I see it as a pretty decent monthly spread in the process, because I'm not going to sell it for $795. You know, I'm going to try to get at least $995 out of this thing. Not straight rent, but any way I can get it. Now I'm at a $300 a month positive cash flow on a zero investment. Now, I don't know about you, and I'm not sure, but I think that beats CD rates. So for what I know and a little bit of work, I've created an asset with at least a $20,000 value in it and at least a $300 a month positive cash flow, and it's virtually free. And you know the good part? I can quit any time I like. I'm not personally liable on this note. If I get tired of paying it, to heck with it. Let them have it. I have nothing invested. But I can find all kind of ways to keep on getting money out of this house. What if this individual I put in here moves out 6 months later, and now I'm break even? I get to do it all over again. Now I get to start making money up front in cash. Anytime a seller is willing to give me a house, I'm very inclined to take it. What if I don't even make these payments until I get this money from this buyer?